Hi, it's Robin from Minimalism Over 50. I am bringing this to you today with my husband, Charlie. We just returned last night from 3.5 weeks in Europe. It was a very tricky, complicated packing situation. We spent the first 10 days or so, we were in Paris, London, Edinburgh, Scotland, and then Aberdeen, Scotland, getting our daughter sorted at school. She has a semester abroad. And then we flew down to Spain. Actually, we flew to Biarritz, France, took the train to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, and did the first 100 miles of the Camino Frances. So we were packing both for touring and also for backpacking for 100 miles. So it was a complicated trip to pack for. So today we are unpacking. We just got home last night. We're both a little jet lagged, but we wanted to show you everything and kind of talk about how everything worked that we packed. I did a packing video that I will link up above several weeks ago before we left, and today we are doing our unpacking video. Let's get started. We're going to start with
what we wore.
Yeah. So for me, we're just going to go back and forth. So I wore smart wool socks, my Hoka trail runners. These were my main shoes. Let me just say these were fantastic. These are the Speedgoat, Hoka Speedgoats. They worked great. I went 100 miles on the Camino. My feet got tired just because of long days walking. When we had a 10 to 15 mile day, my feet got tired. I never had a blister, and my knees and hips did great. These were fantastic shoes. So that is my Hoka Speedgoats. I wore my Big B pants from Title IX. These were a workhorse on the trip as well. This is a smart wool t-shirt. It did fantastic. I used this quite a lot. And then this is my Ridge Merino Solstice Pro. Trying to get the name right on that. So both Charlie and I have this sun hoodie. I just can't say enough good things about this trip. I literally wore it every day for 3.5 weeks. It does not stink because of the merino in it. Context for this, it is a sun hoodie, which we did wear it for that. I also didn't bring, so I wore it for sun protection. I also wore it because for warmth. I didn't bring a hat for warmth, and there were mornings where it was in the upper 40s or lower 50s, and I needed a little bit more warmth. So I would pull the hood up for that. It was great for temperature regulation. The quarter zip was great for that. I also used this little pocket right here, unzips. I used this a ton, especially when we were touring in Paris and London, and I needed my credit card to tap on and tap off for public transportation. This is where I kept my credit card to make it easy to get to. I can't say enough great things about my Ridge Merino sun hoodie. If you subscribe to their newsletter, they have a discount code, and I will link that down below for you. I'll go ahead and add my other pair of shoes. Charlie only brought one pair of shoes, so I'll go ahead and tell you now. I brought my Birkenstocks. I wore them a little bit. Most of the time I was in my Hokas.
Okay, so my outerwear is going to look really similar. Once again, we have the Trail Runner, Hoka Trail Runners shoes, the Speedgoats. I've used these for a while for both running, hiking. I like to put in kind of custom inserts, so I got these from the running store. Just something to support the arch, helps a lot. So these have been good. One thing I did notice, at least for me, is that the shoes were, I didn't get an extra size bigger. And so at times when we're going downhill, my toe would start to hit the edge of the shoe. Didn't get blisters or anything like that, but one of the things I did do is on this shoe. I use the extra set of laces, which just holds the foot further back from the end just to avoid that. So just a little tip there. So those were great. Was always wearing my hat. I bought this little running hat, just a white hat. It's a little bit, I don't know, it's a challenge. White helps with the heat, but it also gets really dirty. So I had to wash it at least once. But I need that because I don't have the hair to protect. Underwear, I did buy a fresh set of kind of quick dry underwear. This is Buck Naked's kind of boxers. I probably bought more sets than I needed, but they seem to work pretty well. Washed them and they dried overnight, so that was great. Socks were a little bit challenging. I brought 4 different kinds of socks, but it turns out the ones I loved were my Darn Tough hiking socks, and so I wore those most of the time until they got too stinky and I had to wash them, and then I subbed out to a different sock. But I love the Darn Toughs. Next time I will bring just Darn Toughs. I also had the Ridge Merino Solstice Pro. Unlike Robin, I didn't use the pocket. I didn't really like it. I kept things in my fanny pack and out of my pockets. That's the way I like to roll. So I did have a Ridge Merino t-shirt as well. I liked their t-shirt. And most days when it was colder in the 40s, I would start with the t-shirt and with this, and that would be fine until it got up to like 60 degrees. And then I would take off the t-shirt and I would just have the hoodie with nothing underneath. And that was pretty good up until 80 degrees. And then once it got over 80, then it did get kind of warm. But we would rather have the sun coverage, because skin cancer. So that's what I did there. And then my pants are actually ones I use for hiking. These are from Rail Riders. So Rail Riders makes this kind of lightweight pant that they look kind of goofy, but I don't mind. It's got a zipper along the side that unzips. So unlike a zip off, I don't have to hassle with taking things off. It just opens up a vent in the side. And so it kind of gets a little airflow and feels like a short. And then when I want it to look a little better, I just zip it down and there I go. So I loved these. I hiked in these all the time. When we were in the cities, I wore something that was a little more formal and less goofy. But this was my hiking pant. The belt just kind of came with the pants. It's just this really lightweight nylon belt. And that's kind of it for the hiking gear.
All right. So now I will share with you all of my clothing. Travel skirt from Travel 9, quick dry material. I actually never washed this while we were gone, so I can't comment on how it dried and washed. I did wear it. I wore it, I'm gonna guess, probably 10 days out of the 3 weeks, and I would wear it if I came in from hiking at night. On days when we got really sweaty, and there were several of those, I would change clothes after I showered, after we came in from our hike, and I would wear this at night while my other clothes were drying. So that was useful. Title IX t-shirt, that is a quick dry material. Did not wear it. I wore it one day while my other things were drying. But I had one of my sports bras got super stinky because it didn't dry well enough. I put it in my outer pocket while we were hiking and it just got smelly. So I actually avoided wearing these quick dry materials and stuck to all merino. Shorts. These are super comfortable. I would suspect, so the dates of our hike, we hiked mid to late September. We just came home yesterday. So we started hiking probably on the 15th and finished around the 25th, somewhere around there. If I were hiking more middle of the summer, July, August, these may have seen more use. As it was, I just didn't wear these enough to make it worth the while for me to bring them. Socks, I had 3 different pair. I had smart wool. I had 2 pair of smart wool and 1 pair of Darn Tough. I didn't prefer any of them. I was glad that I had 3 pair of smart wool or merino socks. We didn't have rain on our hike, but if we had had rain or my feet had gotten wet, having the ability to get into dry socks, I would have wanted that. So I'm glad I had 3 pair of socks with me. I also had 3 pair of underwear, and that for me was the perfect amount. Next time, these were a little bit longer. These are nylon, older underwear. I've had them for quite a while. I would probably see if I could find some merino underwear that was super comfortable. My trusty sports bras, again, like a tech fabric. These are not merino, and they did get smelly. The next Camino we do, I'm gonna buy a merino bra or 2. So these did get smelly. So that's my sports bras, and I would probably do 2 merino sports bras. And these are hiking pants. These were great. I love hiking in these. I still love hiking in these. But yeah, so I did wear my hiking pants.
So just, we're talking your main wear. I kind of used a slightly different storage system. Robin used kind of these, what do you call those?
Packing cubes?
Packing cubes. I just use these, which are kind of just basic kind of nylon bags that I use for backpacking because they compress and fold and do all that. What I ended up doing is I used one that's a little more square in shape to put kind of my outerwear, pants and shirts and that kind of thing. And then the other one is more underwear and socks. And then I had a bunch of other things that I end up putting inside of these because I had room, which is kind of my toiletry stuff. We'll talk about that later. And kind of my charge kit, which we'll talk about later as well. So for the outerwear, I had for kind of more formal clothes when we're in the big cities, I had these Lululemon kind of ABC trouser, straight legs, a little bit of stretch to them. They were great. First time using these, super comfy. I wore these both ways on the flight for 9 hours, and they were totally comfy because of that stretch. Really liked them. Would do another pair for sure. The one thing people have said about these is sometimes the seams can wear out faster. I haven't seen it yet, but one trip in.
They looked really nice enough to wear to the office. I mean, they truly would transition between hiking and office.
I did bring, kind of my regular kind of leather belt to go with them to make them look a little nicer. Kind of heavy. Don't know if I do that again. And then this was another piece that I wore, which was, this is my merino wool. This is made by Prince & Wool. It's just a golf shirt, navy blue, pretty straightforward. Did really great with the stink, pretty comfy. Definitely doesn't wrinkle, even though it gets folded funky. It seems to fall out pretty well. So really like that. And then this was one of the pairs of socks. So this was Smart Wool. I typically like these, but what I found when I was hiking for a while is they kind of had a looser fit and they tended to kind of roll on the foot a little bit. And I did not like that hiking. It felt like over time that would maybe give me a blister. So this is a pair that I would leave at home next time. Other stuff I had in the outerwear is I also brought a long sleeve shirt. This is also by Prince & Wool because I really like this one as well.
Woolen Prince.
Woolen Prince, yeah. Sorry about that, little dyslexia. It looks nice. I did not wear it that much. It was a little bit hot for the weather we were in, and I was in the golf shirt more or in the sun hoodie more. It's just a little more flexible, a little more comfy. And then I brought another, this is an icebreaker t-shirt I have when I use hiking. Just has a little, it's even lighter weight than the other one. I did wear this kind of more like a pajama top when I needed that. And then once again, for odds and ends, sometimes I would store them in this bag. We'll talk about this stuff later. And that was kind of the outerwear.
All right, next is my sleepwear. All right, I have my eye mask, which I used, I don't know how much, so much. Earplugs, which I also used. I had actually 2 pair of earplugs. These are the cheaper pair and the pair that I prefer because they were more comfortable. I also have this pair, which I didn't use. These are loop, and they were supposed to be more comfortable, but for my ears, they were not super comfortable, so I didn't wear these very much. I have a blanket that I sleep with. use it every night. Oh, this is my bamboo sleep shirt. Super comfy, dried well, didn't stink. It worked great. I'm a really princess in the pea sleeper, and this was super cozy, soft, easy. And then I have a little bit of antihistamine in my sleep bag because I don't use it often, but I did bring an antihistamine with me for sleep.
Okay, we stored things slightly differently. So this is more my underwear and socks bag. So just another pair of the Buck Naked boxer briefs, a pair of running shorts, which can double as underwear or as running shorts or a swimsuit. Another pair of Buck Naked briefs. I probably brought too much underwear, but you know.
How many pair did you bring?
I had 4 pair of the Buck Naked briefs.
If you had 4 pair of the Buck Naked briefs, and if you had it to you over again, how many would you bring?
I would probably bring 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Or 2 and have the running shorts. So basically an A and a B. Because what I found is, you know, pretty much every night. Oh, actually, sorry, I misspoke. I also brought 1 additional pair, so that was 5 pair of underwear. These are a pair of cotton boxers, just a little more comfortable to sleep in. So I'd probably do 2 pairs of the Buck Naked and the cotton boxers to sleep in, and then maybe the running short as a swimsuit. I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit. We have the different pairs of socks. So I had a smart wool, and then this is a cycling kind of a crew sock that I have. I forget the company that makes these.
All wool?
All wool. Yeah, I've had the mistake of doing non-wool on a hiking trip, and after one day, my feet stunk so bad I would not put the socks back on. So I will not go in anything but merino wool. And then, you know, I brought these just in case I wasn't sure. These are little gaiters from Dirty Girl Gaiters with a fun, you know, fox print on it or whatever. If it's really sandy or there's rocks or something, it helps keep them out of your shoes. Just really lightweight. I wore them maybe half the time. The trail was such that I really didn't need them, but I had them and I'd already bought them, so yeah. And that was kind of my underwear and night clothes, more or less.
Okay.
All right.
So I feel like I reached, this is my tripped quart toiletry bag, and I feel like I reached sort of the Goldilocks level of, it felt just right. I've had trouble with having too little and wishing I had more, and then I had a big bag that I was trying to get small. This worked well, and it worked well for the entire 3.5 weeks. There are some things that I learned that I will share with you. So let me tell you what's in here, and I'll tell you about that. This is the container that I had my toothpaste tablets in, and it worked really well. I liked using the toothpaste tablets. I have my CeraVe cream, tretinoin, which is a prescription thing for my face. This was my starter thing of sunscreen. I had it in a goob tube. Oh, one of these. I had one of these, my sunscreen. I was glad that I arrived with sunscreen because we were in London and everything was so expensive. So I feel like I was able to arrive with reasonable sunscreen that I already knew worked well. And I ran out of this eventually and bought another small thing of sunscreen. So I'm showing you both of these, but I used one at a time. I liked having the small thing of sunscreen. I ran out of deodorant and bought another thing of deodorant while we were gone. Facial sunscreen, Naturium, worked great. A small thing of cortisone ointment that I used in my ears sometimes. My night guard. Here is my lavender oil that I used for sleep. I didn't use it, and I would probably leave it at home next time. This is My Philips electric toothbrush, my travel toothbrush. I did use this. I could have used a smaller toothbrush, and I know that. I like having an electronic toothbrush. It doesn't work as well as my Sonicare, but it works way rather than just a manual toothbrush. So I am happy to take the hit for this bigger travel toothbrush from Philips. Comb, hair thingy, a razor, Aquaphor. This is solid Aquaphor, so it wouldn't count as my liquids. I didn't like it as much as I like the little cream, but it worked just fine. I still would bring this over using the little pot of Aquaphor for a trip. A little thing of Q-tips, dental floss, hair ties, fingernail clippers, ponytail holders, and a little thing of, this is tweezers, and I would bring all of those again.
Okay, so we have different needs. So my kits are a little bit different than that. These two bags are Gossamer Gear, just lightweight kind of bags, really lightweight material. They're actually, one's kind of this yellow tab on it, one's blue, so I could easily identify which is which. This tended to be my kind of daily driver of everything that I needed right just then, every day.
It's a little different than mine.
So I have, your classic folding toothbrush, right? Just unfolds really simply and refolds again. No big deal there. A small thing of dental floss, that was fine. And then pair of nail clippers, right? Just cheap ones. And this actually was my fun purchase from Amazon. It's a little tiny just pill kit. Because we were going for 30 days, I had to take a 30-day supply of my medication. And I liked having this tiny pill kit where I could just pull out each day what I needed. And I loaded up once a week. That was kind of the daily driver. And then this was kind of my larger storage of stuff that I wouldn't use like at every meal or whatever, but in between. We actually ended up in combining some liquids as we went through security, so that's what this is. So a few items are yours, which I'll pass over to you here if you want to talk about those.
Okay. Facial scrub, didn't use. And this is the hair stuff. I'll talk about hair in just a little bit.
And then for me, a small thing of toothpaste. This is my container of sunscreen. This is about, I don't know, an ounce or so. And that was enough for me because we're wearing the sun hoodie and we would even pull it up when it was sunny out. So really I just had to get the backs of my hands because I've had issues there, the back of the neck, the nose, and just kind of the face, and that's it. And so I could make this last for essentially almost 30 days. I have a very small, this is like a little makeup container I got from somewhere, I don't know where, that I put A&D ointment, which is good for kind of the lips and stuff like that. Just really, really small. Barely used it. A thing of deodorant. This is one I tried. It's the Crystal deodorant that some people like. It doesn't work for everybody. And then my shave stuff. So I had a razor with a nice little cover, which I really appreciate, right? Just a straight up a little cover. Got that from Dollar Shave Club. And then I've been using these awesome little Matador bags to store soap in because there's some type of clever membrane that allows the moisture to go out so the bar doesn't get all scummy and it dries out, so you have a dry bar. And then I just have, the bar, which is an all-in-one bar. It's shampoo, soap, conditioner, shave soap, and I used it for everything.
Do you remember who it's made by?
I think it was 21 Senses or something like that.
Okay.
The bars they're expensive, but I've had this half bar or quarter bar for over a year for all my travels. So it lasts a long time.
We'll link it down below.
Yeah. And then I just had kind of some pill containers to take a 30-day supply that I could repackage into kind of this. And that was it really for toiletries. Pretty simple.
Next, we're going to talk about ditty bags. I'm going to start. So this is my ditty bag, but I have a couple of things that I pulled out yesterday for the long haul, the almost 10-hour flight. So this is a Chico bag that I bought before we left. And this is the bag that I used on the way to Europe and on the way home. This was it went under the seat in front of me, holding, I put my jacket in it and some food. So I'll put the food in here, some snacks. We always had snacks. Snacks are very important on the Camino.
Yes.
You do not want to get hangry. And sometimes you think you're gonna have time to have a meal and you don't, or you run out of food. So the snacks are really important. We found all kinds of good higher protein bars in Europe. And then I have nuts in here as well. So this, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure if I would take the Chico bag or not. We could have also just used a plastic bag from the grocery store. So I'm not sure if I'll take the Chico bag next time or not. I have a thing of Ziploc bags, which it was really useful to have multiple sizes. I would not probably bring a lot of the tiny little sizes just because we didn't use them. We did use these larger ones as well as the sort of sandwich or quart size bags. My trusty Kindle used this a ton. And then I have just this medium size. I have extra ibuprofen. I hurt my back about 5 days into the trip and blew through my ibuprofen. So I stopped at a pharmacy in Spain and got more ibuprofen. So here is the extra ibuprofen. I sectioned out my my supplements that I take every day into little bags. I just have one left from a day that I forgot to take them. But I just made little packets for myself and took a packet of supplements each day. I struggled with whether to bring supplements or not. I'm glad I did. We had a sort of sore throat cold that went between Charlie, from my husband and daughter, and I didn't get it. I don't know if it was because I had supplements, but it can't hurt. So I was glad I had the supplements with me. Kula cloth, pea cloth. If you know, you know, it's a pea cloth. If you hike the Camino, you're gonna see a lot of toilet paper on the trail, and I don't wanna be putting toilet paper on the trail. I didn't use this a lot, but if I had it to do over again, I would take it again. So this is my spork. Oops, I lost a tine on my spork. Workhorse. One of our go-to meals for both, we had it for breakfast, lunch. We had this meal several times. Was that we would go to a grocery store and buy containers of Greek yogurt and pour a little granola in it. And it was a great fuel for us. So we used our sporks several times. Glad I had that. Travel towel. Never used it. I'm not sure I would take it next time. We don't stay in albergues. Well, we don't stay in albergues where we're having to use a public shower. So I'm not sure I would take this again. My shell, which is the sign of the pilgrim. Little chip clip, good to have. I would think I would take it again. I didn't use it, but I think I would take it again. It's super lightweight and really has a lot of different potential uses. Little thing of toilet paper, which was I never used. I threw an AirPod in the bottom of...
AirTag.
Huh?
AirTag.
I threw an AirTag in the bottom of my ditty bag so that I could track my suitcase. And I also had one of the Matador soap cases with a half bar of Dr. Bronner's. Here's what I learned. I learned a couple of things. So Dr. Bronner's was super useful. We have a tiny, tiny sliver left. Because I stopped using it, because I was afraid about conserving it, What we learned, I had planned to use shower gel in the shower each day to wash my clothes. And what we learned is that clothes just don't come as clean with shower gel. The Dr. Bronner's in the sink, if we could sop up get the suds going with the Dr. Bronner's and let it sit there for like half an hour, it released way more dirt. So our clothes got cleaner with the Dr. Bronner's than they did with the shower gel. I had also planned to use this on my hair, which I did once. And it just, with gray hair, with my particular gray hair, and I think this is true for a lot of women with gray hair, is that we need the moisture. So just using the Dr. Bronner's on my hair without conditioner, my hair got to be like straw. It was so dry that it was almost uncomfortable, and my hair was kind of like in a wad. I mean, you'll attest, it was like in a wad. And so what I started doing instead, let me back up and say, at home, I wash my hair twice a week. I underestimated how much I was going to sweat on our days on the trail. So we had some days that were 15 and 16 miles, and I sweated so much. So the bottom line is that I washed my hair more frequently. Halfway through our hike, well, maybe like 3 days into the hike, because my hair had gotten to be like straw, I bought conditioner and I started co-washing my hair. So co-washing means you're washing with conditioner. I'm scrubbing and getting the sweat out of my hair and rinsing it with conditioner instead of washing it with soap and water. And then I would use shampoo when we got to a hotel that had shampoo and conditioner.
Okay, so this is my ditty bag, a little bit different. My hair maintenance is a little bit less. So I took, this is something, it was just kind of a luxury item really. It's just a little scrubby. It's made by, it comes from Japan, but it helps you get kind of, scrub up your back, which I really like. So I brought it. It was a nice little luxury item. I bought a pair of reading glasses. I have an alternate solution, so I don't know that I would do that again. I brought this, it's like a little massage ball. It's kind of tiny. And I had this, and for massaging the bottom of my feet, I did actually use this several times. It was super helpful. You just were on your feet so much when you're walking, they just get compressed, and it was really helpful to just kind of use this on the bottom of my feet to massage it. My spork, this one I picked up at Trail Days for the PCT. It's awesome. It's a folding spork. Look at this. Ta-da! So you get a really long handle. It's super lightweight, and then it compacts down so it fits into nice little things. So I really like this. This was a new item for me, and I really liked it, and I'm going to use this in my backpacking. Like Robin, I brought a pack towel and did not use it at all. Actually, that's not true. I blew my nose in it once just to say I used it. But other than that, I did not use it.
That's awesome.
And then for the toilet solution, this is my backpacking toilet solution. I actually didn't use these items, but it's basically a lightweight trowel for digging holes. And then this fits on a water bottle. It's just a little bidet. It squirts water in. So you can use this in combination with a little soap in your towel. We saw actually lots of poop on the trail with toilet paper. It was kind of gross. On backpacking here, people have an aesthetic of you leave no trace, you bury it, and you pack out your toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, even though I didn't use this, I would bring it again just in case you were on the trail and not near a bathroom and you had to go.
100%.
So that I would not leave anything behind like others have done. This is my soap solution. It's just a little bit of Dr. Bronner's in a very small kind of like eye drop bottle. This is all I take. And really, I use this for cleaning off my spoon or washing my hands, a few drops. It's something I do backpacking, so I did it here. I also brought some DEET insect repellent in a very similar bottle. Didn't use that at all, but it's not that big, so I'd probably bring it again. I brought a headlamp just in case we're going to be hiking in the dark. I love this one. This is the Nightcore NU25. It weighs like 30 grams, which is like an ounce. It's rechargeable, has a red light and a white light on it. I use it backpacking. It's just so light. That's why I love it. So that was kind of my ditty bag of stuff.
Yeah. So I will say too, I didn't take a headlamp. And if I had it to do over again, I would have a headlamp. Particularly we were hiking in September. I didn't think it was going to be that hot. We had 2 days where we hiked in the 90s. And both of us got a little wilty. If I were hiking the Camino again, I would want to be prepared to leave at like 4:30 in the morning to be able to escape the intense heat. If I knew that it was going to be super hot, like over 100, which that does happen on the Camino, I would want to have a headlamp with me so that we could leave super early to mitigate the issue with heat. Next is my fanny pack. This is just one that I got off of Amazon. It's made by Bag Smart, and I like it. I don't love it. It's got this bungee cord on it, and they had said that you could carry water bottles in it. Water bottles just popped right out. I had that happen 2 or 3 times, then I stopped trying to carry a water bottle in it. But it has a zipper on the front, a zipper on the back, which was super useful against my body. This is where I had my passport in a Ziploc bag and my chum's wallet. Also super useful. I love this little bag, this little chum's wallet. In the front packet, I have some lip sunscreen. I have a little bit of Advil and a ponytail holder. In the middle zippered, the main zippered compartment, I have electrolytes, which we stopped and got along the way on a particularly hot day. I carried my phone, which is being used to film this right now, my charging cable, glasses case. I had both sunglasses and regular glasses, which I would change out depending on what I was wearing. So my glasses case. Here is the adapter and plug for my cable, my charging cable. Earphones. Little packet that has hand gel and also a little thing of Dr. Bronner's to wash my hands in. I did use this on several occasions in bathrooms where there was no soap. Wet ones, mainly for flights because I am a neurotic wiper downer when we get on airplanes. So I wipe down seatbelt buckles, the tray tables. So that's the main context that I use wet ones for. I do it every flight that I get on.
This is true.
It is true. And then here is my pilgrim credential.
So in my little fanny pack, you can see it right here, just this little guy. This is Atom Packs. It's made by the same one as my pack. This is a new pack. Since Robin was using my pack, I got to buy a new one, which I love. This they make, it's on their remnant pieces of cloth because they do custom order stuff. And so this is just with the remnants, which I kind of like. So it's got this kind of fun little color design on it. I chose, I don't like a lot of stuff on me, so I like it smaller. So just volume wise, we're talking a pretty significant difference between Robin's and mine. I think this is like the 1 liter model or something like that. So there's a stretchy, well, first a few mods I made on the zippers. They had stretchy things on here, and I just changed it with a static rope because I like to just be able to pull and not have the thing stretch. So that's one thing I changed. I also clipped on, this is a little thing I do backpacking, which just gives me the temperature. So this is in Celsius, just for fun. So I kind of clipped that on there just to know how hot is it. I would keep my phone in the stretchy part, so it's really easy to pull out and take a picture or check my email or whatever I needed to do. And what I tend to do, because I had less volume, is I would change what was in here out depending upon what activities we had that day. So this right now is packed for the flight. So I had my phone in the front, which was pretty consistent, so I knew that what was going on there. In the main compartment, it's pretty straightforward. There's just the main compartment, and then there's like a little pocket in here. I'll show you all the pieces. So I'd have my headphones, which I obviously used on the flight. They're Jabra 75Ts Elite. I've had these forever. I'm probably replacing them with AirPods Pro or something like that in the future. A charging cable. This is just for the iPhone. I brought all kind of the USB-C type, which is the newer type. Learning, if there were outlets available that had USB, they were mainly USB-A. So if you didn't have that with you, you were stuck. You had to have an adapter for the plug. That became a problem in several places. Fortunately, Robin had that, so I borrowed hers. And this is my ultra compact, lightweight kind of charging deal. This is the Nightcore battery, a little carbon fiber case. And then some guy in Europe makes these for backpacking. It's got these adapters. So on this I have it's a cable. This is just a USB-C to USB-C cable with a right angle on it. So it plugs in kind of here. And then you have an adapter, right? So this one is an adapter that fits on the end. It's for the Garmin, right? So it charges my watch. This one is for the Kindle, for my Kindle Voyage. And then this one is for the iPhone. It's the Lightning connector here. And if you look very closely, you can see that that's bent, so it's no longer functional. Because what I was doing is I had this connected and I had it charging. You know, I had the battery in my pouch here, and then it was in here charging. And as you can see this, when you connect them all, it's very long, and that actually got bent and then broke. So that's something I would do differently next time, which is when I started using this cable. So that was learning. I would also pack my Kindle in there, which was nice to have it there. It fits in this case, so I could use that. One thing that became an issue is this is the Kindle Voyage. There's a little power button on the back, and when it was sitting in here, it would get pushed, and I would open it up, and I'm like, oh, how long has that been on? So I got to figure out that one. I would have a snack, because don't be without a snack, because you'll get hangry. This happened a couple times. Robin can attest.
You do not want to get hangry. You do not want him to, well, either one of us.
Yeah. And then this I picked up once again at PCT Trails Days. I love this. It's just a plastic case for earplugs. So it keeps the earplugs clean. It's super simple, but it's little things like this that I love. And then in this, there's like a little pocket in here you can see separated. And in there I would keep my passport, so it's always handy and next to my body. I have a small collapsible space pen that you can, put together and make a full pin out of it, that I never used actually. I think I used it once.
Would you still take it?
I would. Mm-hmm. And then this is actually one of my favorite ones. So I wouldn't take the reading glasses, but I would take these. These are my thin optics reading glasses. So watch this, ready? Yeah, and then they just fit on the bridge of your nose, and that's all. Like super simple. I love the fact that I can have these in my pocket and they're so small. And they make a couple different versions and designs, etc. So and then they just fold back in with a little lever. So anyway, I love that. Just a few other items that were stored in other places. One is I brought this. This is my Supernote. This is for journaling, so it's a digital notebook. So think of it like a Kindle you can write on, essentially. It used to have Kindle functionality, but as they as Amazon upgraded the software, it no longer runs the Kindle on it. You have to have the newer version for it to work, the Kindle, whatever. But I still use it for journal. It's great for that. I actually didn't use it that much. So I'd probably, you asked what would I do different next time, I'd probably just take a paper one, simpler, use my pen, lighter. So that's what I do differently. And then this is actually my charge kit. You saw a few items of that with the battery and other stuff because I kind of decoupled that to put in my fanny pack. But this is the rest of what's in the charge kit. So in here I have my adapter, which is the adapter for Europe, not for the UK, which was a problem for part of our trip, but we made it work. I chose to take this, which is the one that goes to my Mac Air. It's got 2 ports on it, so you can charge 2 USB-C things at the same time, which was useful at times for me. Just a USB-C to USB-C cable, an eye mask, which, like earplugs, I did use quite a bit. And that was it.
So before he goes on, I did take a little notebook and a pen with me that lived in my fanny pack, and I did use both of them. I would take them again. So Charlie had both our charging kit, which he put together, and I also used. We also worked together to put together a medical kit, and he is the one who carried that.
So the medical kit, we're going to go to the packs later, but I usually keep, this is what I do backpacking, but there's a stretchy pocket on the front of the packs, and I always keep the medical kit in the bottom of the stretchy pocket so it's easily accessible and I always know where it is. So this is our medical kit. It's really pretty small. We just use a plastic bag, a Ziploc. I like that because you can see through it and kind of see what's in there. That's helpful. We ended up, we didn't bring electrolytes with us, so there's a bunch of kind of high volume and heavy, in my opinion, electrolytes that we bought on the road, which is all we could find. So that's what these are. I would probably take like some Noon tablets or something like that. Yeah. But, you know.
Take them with you. They're hard to find. Like the little electrolyte tablets are not easy to find on the Camino. And they're really useful for days where you're sweating a lot. It's nice to have electrolytes with you to use.
So inside of here, I have some kind of sub-organization the way I did it. There's a package with Band-Aids. These are some larger gauze sizes and some smaller ones just in assortment. We actually didn't use those at all. We didn't use hardly anything in our medical kit. This is the kind of medicine piece and some blister stuff. So for that, I have, this is Hypofix. It's basically like a tape you put on the blister. It sticks really well. And there's a variety of types of tape that do that. I have my favorite pair of tweezers, which I use kind of backpacking, which are these guys. They're super sharp and they're just very light. They got a really nice tip on them. So I brought those. Once again, didn't use them, didn't have any splinters or anything like that. And then Robin got me for my birthday a while ago this like a bunch of little packets of stuff that are kind of individual use, which I find really, really useful. I used to put them into those little Ziploc bags like Robin used for her supplements. But what I found is that I kept stuff there like longer than a year and went back to it next year, a little bit of moisture had gotten in and kind of ruined the medicine. So these individual kind of sealable things, I don't have to worry about that. So we have a little thing of Aquaphor. We have some kind of antibiotic. I think this is like bacitracin or the equivalent. A couple of packets of that. A couple of packets of kind of hydrocortisone cream, if you had any issues with that, and some sterile kind of alcohol prep pads. That was in kind of like the skincare case. And then this was the medicine case here, right? Just a little snack bag full. And we had in here, gosh, I don't know if I'm, a couple packs of Benadryl, right? Just individually, like I think there's 2 pills in each one or something like that. Some Advil, a couple packs of Advil. Robin had some additional ones because Advil tends to be a heavier use item, you know. And then we had a thing of Tylenol just in case you needed Tylenol instead of Advil. A little bit of Pepto-Bismol. Fortunately, that wasn't an issue. And this is kind of a luxury item, but really useful. Zofran, which is kind of an anti-nausea medication.
For if you have vomiting. It's a prescription medication for if you have vomiting.
Our son had, when he was traveling in Indonesia, had an issue with food poisoning, and he was on a boat, and this was super helpful, kept him hydrated, so he didn't barf all the time.
You just have to know when to use it, because with food poisoning, you want to make sure everything's out before you use the Zofran. But if you're having, like he was at a place where he couldn't everything was out, but he couldn't stop the vomiting, and he was concerned about getting dehydrated, so the Zofran was helpful.
Then some anti-diarrheal, a couple of those, and then some Dramamine just for motion sickness if we're traveling or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next is outerwear. Again, for context, our trip was in September. My puffer, I used a lot. It's a Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer. Is that right?
Ghost Whisperer.
So super cozy, comfy. I used it a ton while we were in Scotland because it got chilly. And then on the Camino, I used it several times in the mornings when it was in the upper 40s, lower 50s. It's just a cozy, easy, lightweight piece and packs super tiny. My Ducks cap, University of Oregon, just baseball cap. Used this all the time. Also used it underneath my sun hoodie, which was great. That worked great. Did not use my rain gear that much. I used it more for keeping wind out. Outdoor research. Outdoor research jacket worked well for blocking wind. I did not need it for the rain. So that, and then my REI basic garden variety rain pants. I did not need them, but if I had it to do over again, I would totally take them again because you need good rain gear. If it rains on the Camino, you absolutely need rain gear to deal with it.
Okay, so on my side, kind of similar setup. I chose to kind of package them a little differently. So in the large bag is my puffy. And occasionally I put extra things in here. So I stored my shell in there so it didn't get cracked while you're traveling back. But same mountain hardware, just a different color. Really lightweight, but provides warmth. I didn't actually use it that much. I found that a merino wool t-shirt with the Solstice Pro was fine. And if I needed a little extra, I'd throw on my rain jacket to block the wind. And that was, for me, most of the time I was fine. So didn't use it that much, but I could see if it got weird cold conditions, I'd probably want it. So even though it was low use, I'd probably take it for safety. Rain bottoms, this is just frog togs. So they're butt ugly. And they're just, all they've got is like a little elastic thing, and they're this ugly gray color, and I've used these backpacking. They have a tear in the knee, but I figured this was going to probably not be used, and these are super light and they're cheap. I think they're like 20 or 30 bucks for a top and a bottom. So that's what I did for the bottoms. The top, I actually invested in some new gear. And this was an experiment because, I don't know, it's probably a $230 jacket. This is Montbell's Gore-Tex jacket. Interesting little tidbit. This is very light, so I optimized for lightness, and I was looking for things that were super light that I could take on this trip as well as take backpacking when I go. So this particular jacket, it's pretty thin, right? So it's not that robust. So like if you're going through bushes or something like that, it would probably get snagged and tear. But it's made of the Windstopper fabric, which actually is a waterproof fabric, but Gore-Tex Infinium, I guess, is the brand name. But Montbell is the only company that has the license to seam seal it, so it's actually waterproof. So that's what I use. Some people complain about longevity. I don't know. I only used it for one trip. It was fine. It was lightweight. I would do it again, and I'm going to take it backpacking, and we'll see. So
I tried that same jacket, the women's version, and didn't like it. For me, it was, even with the extra large, it wasn't roomy when it wasn't roomy enough for me. So I went with the outdoor research jacket instead. So now we're gonna do our packs. This is the ULA Circuit. How many?
Catalyst.
Okay.
No, is it Circuit or Catalyst?
It's Circuit. This is the ULA Circuit pack. And inside I have just a little waterproof bag. That's my total waterproofing plan, is I put everything down in this bag every morning, and then I would twist the top, tuck it over, and my pack is water resistant, not waterproof, but nothing's getting through this. These are sold by Gossamer Gear, and just a really simple, easy waterproofing solution, lightweight. Pack worked great. I would frequently dry things in this front sort of mesh pocket that didn't get quite dry. It was fine for things that were merino, things that were tech non-merino. Like I said, my sports bra got stinky. I also have this little, that Charlie ordered this for me. This little tiny sit pad. It was amazing. We also used them, I used them to sit on during the day, but our biggest use was probably when we would stretch out at night, that we would use these on the hotel floors. It just made stretching out much more pleasant. It weighs nothing. I don't even know how many grams it is, but it is super lightweight, and I would bring it again. Water bottle. This is the water bottle that I bought in the Portland airport. I normally use a Hydro Flask, but Hydro Flasks are heavy, so I didn't bring that. I just bought this liter bottle in Portland, and I used that through the entire trip. For the Camino, here's what I would say. We had one day, our first day from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Roncesvalles. It was in the upper 80s, and we sweated a lot. One of the water sources after Orison was just barely trickling, and so I ran out of water. If I had it to do over again, every day except for our first long day, that 16-mile day, one liter is fine. That super long day, I would have 2 liters.
Okay, so for my pack, very, very similar. I have the same kind of Z-Lite or Thermarest Z-Lite sit pad. I think they weigh around 40 grams or something like that. Very useful for stretching. I use this so much backpacking. It's a luxury item, but it's really nice to have something to sit on that's soft and insulated. I typically use smart water bottles just because they're all about the same size and shape. They fit really nicely into the pockets. It's funny, you get really used to my water bottle is always on the right, so I can reach back and there's water. My sit pad's always on the left, and you get very used to where things are in your pack, so you know where to find them, which you really appreciate. The stretchy pocket would typically have the medical kit at the bottom, and then if there was anything else I needed for the day. So usually, if it was potential of rain or colder, I would have my rain jacket there, or maybe I'd throw in the t-shirt after I took off the t-shirt because it warmed up. There might be some extra snacks, there might not be. Main compartment, also have a plastic bag. Different type of bag. The one in Robin's bag is the Nyloflume, which is Nylofume, I think. It's just slightly lighter. You can use a trash bag, like a garbage compactor trash bag. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these things. I like to do, to bunch it up. When I have a chip clip, I usually keep it just right here when I have it off, and then all I do is take off the chip clip, and then I just clip it to make sure I have a nice seal, right like that, boom, and then fold the end in, and then I've got kind of waterproof inside the bag. Let's see what else there is to talk about. Oh, the front of my pack. So it didn't have any hip belt pockets, which is not something I'm used to. The other one, that's my typical pack, and it has it. So all I had was the fanny pack. Turns out that was enough. I was fine. But it did have these stretchy pockets, which I used one on the left to kind of keep a snack. You can see there's a bar in there. And the one on the right, I ended up keeping my sunglasses. So sometimes you'd want them, sometimes you wouldn't want them. I always knew where my sunglasses were because I kept them in this stretchy pocket. And just in terms of how the pack goes together, it's similar on both of these. They're just a really straightforward where you just roll the top, and then all you do is buckle these things together like this, and there's just a little clip there, and then there's a strap that goes over the top and then buckles in here, right, just like that, and that's it. There's a handle to hold it with. This is a 40-liter pack. It's a little bit lower volume than that one. I had plenty of room with what we were bringing with 40 liters. And I think, probably 30 to 40 is decent. I think that has the capability of 65 if it's all the way up like this, but it compresses down pretty well.
I didn't need that, didn't want it. Overall, here's what I would say about a trip where you're doing touring and doing the Camino. I think the Camino has to win in terms of if you're going to be carrying it for a long distance on your back, you want it to be as light as possible. There is a direct correlation between how much you carry and how fun it is. It's just more fun. Not only that, it's simpler. And so packing up in the morning, when we would pack up, it would take us 5 minutes and we could be out of there. We both had our nerdy little systems about how we did it, and we knew exactly where everything was because it went back the exact same way each day. So packing up was super simple, which just made it a lot more fun. There were times where the elegant, posh women in both Paris and London, I wished that I had something nicer, but only a little. I actually wouldn't do anything differently. I may do with my travel skirt and my smart wool t-shirt because I just didn't want to carry the extra. I just kind of took the hit. I don't know, maybe you think about it as you take the hit of being a little nerdier in the big cities where people are dressing more nicely because you are going to have a better time when you're out backpacking.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. And one thing I will say, a few extra things about the backpack. So we were training before we went because we have a few backpacks, leftover school backpacks or work or whatever. And we tried the various packs we had with about the weight that we thought we were going to carry, which is around 15 pounds. And what I found, and I think you found in your experience, is we wanted something with a hip belt on it so we could put load on our hips. And to effectively do that, it needed just some type of frame. Some of them have no frame at all. This actually, you can't really see it here, but there's like a little U-shaped piece of material. I think it's carbon fiber that's stretched through here that just transmits it down to the hips. So it can effectively carry, probably 20, 25 pounds. That one has a little more robust piece hip belt as well as frame, so that could probably do 35 pounds. But for us, even if it's a lightweight, like 15 pounds, we didn't want it on our shoulders. It would hurt our backs for our backs. So try it. Like we saw people with all sorts of setups on the Camino. You don't need to spend a lot of money. People had, regular stuff from REI or even grocery bags. Like I saw people carrying grocery bags. So, and I saw people with luggage who was just using the luggage service to go from place to place and then hiking with the day pack. So there's all sorts of different ways to do that. These particular packs, because I'm a weight kind of geek, this one weighs, I think, 1.5 pounds. I think it's 800 grams or 700 grams. That one's 1,000 grams or about 2 pounds. Both of those optimized for weight. If you go to REI and buy a pack off the shelf, they're probably going to weigh 3 to 4 pounds. So,
But try your gear. Before you go,
for sure,
try your gear. I had a backpack that I was hoping to take with me that I saw people using out on the trail actually before they started. We saw it in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which they were gonna take just a regular sort of travel pack out to do the Camino, and maybe it worked great for them. When I tried to do that with that particular pack, it's a
was that an Osprey?
Yeah, it's an Osprey. It's an Osprey travel pack. When I tried to do that, it hurt my back, so I couldn't do that. So I would encourage you, try out your gear, put weight in your gear, and start training. Train up ahead, but the last 6 weeks, make sure you're putting weight in your pack so that if there's an issue, you catch it before you leave, hopefully. Everything doesn't work as you want it to, but hopefully you can catch it. Like Charlie said, a lot of people were using the pack service. If that is what makes it to where you can do a Camino, do it. I would totally do it if I needed to, if that were a make or break over whether I could do a Camino or not. The other thing is try your shoes. Don't go with new shoes. Have broken in shoes that work. I had a pair of shoes I had to take back to REI because they didn't work for my feet. A lot of people work through blisters on the trail. So try out your gear and make sure it works before you go. We had a phenomenal time. Are looking forward to being able to do it again.
Yes.
And we're super grateful that we got this experience of getting to do this trip with our daughter, but also 100 miles on the Camino. So
what would we do differently? Okay, so I'll start. Even though
I don't know that I have a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
So, I was a weight weenie. I put everything into a spreadsheet and measured everything, and then I did a few last minute additions.
So all in, you don't count the clothes that you're wearing. So for everything that I took, discounting, not including the clothes that I wore on the airplane, my pack was 13.2. Now that is my pack weight before water. Water adds another 2.2 pounds.
It's a little over 2 pounds for each liter.
For each liter. So that doesn't include food and water. So for me, 13.2 pounds. What about you?
Yeah, so both the fanny pack plus the pack, not including clothes I'm wearing, was 12. 12 pounds, which is 5.5 kilos for the metric people. Yeah, so tips. I think things I've learned, even though I got it down to carry a weight of 12 or maybe 14 with a water bottle. So you still would want less weight. And so there were some things I would leave behind that I just didn't use that much. And so that would be, the long sleeve button down shirt, which just didn't have enough use to go again. The, 4 or 5 pairs of underwear, I would shrink it down to probably 2 or 3. The socks, I would go down to just darn tough socks, probably take 2, maybe 3 pair. So that would be kind of a reduction.
Yeah. And I would leave at home my tech shirt, my tech t-shirt that was not merino. I would probably take 2 merino t-shirts. I would also take 2 merino bras instead of my sports fabric regular bras. I didn't mention this at the time, but on hot days, in terms of temperature regulation as a woman, I'm very comfortable wearing a sports bra. I would wear my Ridge Merino hoodie and a sports bra, and that's it. I could zip up and down to moderate the temperature, and that worked really well. Leave the t-shirt, the non-merino t-shirt at home.
Yeah. The other thing is, I had these reading glasses plus the collapsible one. It's not that much weight, but it's just a hassle of dealing with the glasses. They didn't quite fit into the fanny pack, and then where did I put them in the pack? I would just go to the collapsible ones and say that is stuff that's accessible as well as easy to use, like that kind of combo. The other one, I'll keep going. The belt, 2 belts, I had a pair of belts for each pair of pants. I'm like, after I did it, I was like, okay, I wouldn't do that again. I would just bring 1 belt, and I didn't need 2 belts. And I'd probably take the lighter weight one, I think is what I would do. The digital journal, I guess what I found is for the weight and all of that, I like this because it's infinite pages, but I also this does not fit into my fanny pack. I like stuff that's there that you can just pull out and use, because this is my ready access of stuff I need. And so if there's something that, one of the things is, hey, I want to journal what happened today. Do you remember? And because this was usually stored somewhere else in my pack, I wasn't pulling it out to go write down things that happened. And we'd be like, wait, who did we meet today? What were their names? What did they do? And if I had a just regular old pen and a little tiny journal, and it was in here, maybe that would happen throughout the day. So I do that differently.
Yeah. And on that same note, I had my little tiny journal, and I wasn't pulling it out nearly as frequently as I should have. I wish I had kept sort of better, just bullet point notes for each day of what we did and who we met, because it was a pretty special time, and I wish I had recorded it a little bit more, in a little bit more detail.
And one thing, I actually haven't even talked to you about this one, but just as a way of giving back and something I've thought of for next time we go, is we did see, like I said, I noticed someone pooped over on the side and they left the toilet paper. So I think maybe next time as a giving back, I would bring a plastic bag and then maybe a pair of those remote tongs so I could pick up toilet paper on the trail. Yeah. I didn't want to do it without having something because it's gross, but just as a way of giving back so that people behind us wouldn't see all the toilet paper.
Yeah. I mean, there is a real spirit of generosity on the Camino, 100%. People say the Camino provides, whatever that means. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I did take lamb's wool to use for blisters in case they happened. I didn't need them, but there was another pilgrim who was having issues with their hiking boots, and they were able to stuff the wool that I had into their boots to keep it from chafing their foot.
One thing I would take next time that I did not bring this time is, my back, I have an old back injury, so it tends to get knotted up. And if you're carrying a pack, even with a lot of the weight on the hips, over time, my back got tight. And especially some of the beds may be hard, some of them may be soft. And so at home, I go to the gym and they have a massage chair and I sit there and it kind of rolls out my back. And I also have these like massage balls I can roll on. I have a lightweight cork one that I use for backpacking. I didn't bring it. I would bring it just so I have a way of kind of rolling the knots out of my back. That would have been useful.
We are an open book. Ask us anything. We're happy to answer any of your questions, and we'll see you next time.